Ever wondered how silk, that luxurious fabric we all know, made its way from ancient China to the rest of the world? It wasn't by magic, and it wasn't an accident. It was thanks to one man's incredible journey, a story of adventure, endurance, and discovery that rivals any Hollywood blockbuster. This is the story of Zhang Qian, the father of the Silk Road. Our story begins in the 2nd century BC, during the mighty Han Dynasty. China was powerful, but they had a huge problem to their north, the Xiongnu. These were nomadic horsemen, fierce and relentless, constantly raiding Chinese territory. The Han Emperor Wu, was tired of being on the defensive. He needed an ally, someone to help him fight back. He'd heard whispers of a powerful kingdom to the west, the Yuezhi, who also had a bone to pick with the Xiongnu. The problem was, no one in China knew exactly where the Yuezhi were, or how to get there. The lands to the west were a complete mystery, a vast, uncharted territory. This is where our hero, Zhang Qian, steps onto the stage. He was a minor court official, not a famous general or a high-ranking minister. But he was brave, loyal, and had an unshakable sense of duty. When Emperor Wu put out a call for a volunteer to undertake this perilous mission to find the Yuezhi, Zhang Qian stepped forward. He knew the risks. The journey would take him straight through the heart of Xiongnu territory. It was, for all intents and purposes, a suicide mission. In 138 BC, Zhang Qian set off with a delegation of about 100 men. Their goal was simple: find the Yuezhi and propose an alliance. But almost immediately, things went terribly wrong. As they traveled west, they were captured by the Xiongnu. Just like that, the mission seemed over before it had even begun. Now, for most people, this would be the end of the story. But Zhang Qian was not most people. The Xiongnu leader, the Chan Yu, didn't execute him. Instead, he tried to assimilate him. He gave Zhang Qian a Xiongnu wife, and they even had a son. He was essentially a prisoner, but he was treated with a degree of respect. For 10 long years, Zhang Qian lived among his enemies. He learned their language, their customs, and their way of life. But he never, ever forgot his mission. He kept his official Han staff, the symbol of his duty to the emperor, with him at all times. He was just waiting for the right moment. That moment finally came. After a decade in captivity, Zhang Qian saw his chance. He escaped, along with his faithful aide, Ganfu, leaving his wife and son behind. He didn't head back east to the safety of China. No, he continued his journey west, deeper into the unknown. To fulfill the mission he started 10 years earlier, this is where his journey truly becomes legendary. He traveled through lands no Han Chinese had ever seen. He crossed vast, scorching deserts like the Taklamakan, a place whose name literally means you go in, but you don't come out. He navigated treacherous mountain ranges, like the Pamirs, known as the roof of the world. Finally, after unbelievable hardship, he reached the Fergana Valley, in what is now modern-day Uzbekistan. The people there were stunned to see him. They were famous for their magnificent, heavenly horses, far superior to any horse in China. Zhang Qian meticulously recorded everything he saw: the people, their crops, their customs, and especially these incredible horses. From there, he was guided to the territory of the Yuezhi. He had found them. But there was a catch. The Yuezhi had since settled in a new, fertile land. They had grown comfortable and had lost their desire for revenge against the Xiongnu. They politely declined Emperor Wu's offer of an alliance. From a diplomatic standpoint, the mission was a failure. Zhang Qian spent a year with the Yuezhi. gathering as much information as he could before deciding to head home. You'd think his troubles were over, right, wrong. On his return journey, he was captured by the Shunu again. It's almost unbelievable. He was held for another year until, luckily, a period of internal chaos among the Shunu allowed him to escape once more. In 125 BC, 13 years after he first set out, Zhang Qian finally returned to the Han capital, Shanghai. Of the 100 men who left with him, only he and his aide Ganfu made it back. He had failed to secure the alliance, but what he brought back was far more valuable than any military pact. He brought back knowledge. He returned with detailed reports of sophisticated civilizations, powerful kingdoms, and exotic goods that the Chinese had never even dreamed of. He spoke of Parthia, India, and the Fergana Valley with its heavenly horses. He painted a picture of a world far larger and more interconnected than anyone in China had imagined. Emperor Wu was fascinated. Zhang Qian's intelligence opened his eyes to the possibilities of trade, diplomacy, and expansion to the West. The failure of his initial mission didn't matter. He was hailed as a hero. The information he provided was a geopolitical goldmine. Based on Zhang Qian's reports, the Han Dynasty began a concerted effort to push westward. They sent out more envoys, merchants, and armies. They established garrisons and trade posts. Zhang Qian himself led a second, much larger and more successful expedition a few years later, establishing formal ties with several Central Asian states. This network of routes, blazed by Zhang Qian's initial, harrowing journey, would become the legendary Silk Road. It wasn't just about silk. It was a superhighway for goods, ideas, technologies, philosophies, and religions. Chinese silk, lacquerware, and bronze traveled west. In return, China received wool, linen, glass from Rome, and most importantly, those powerful Fergana horses that revolutionized the Han cavalry. Buddhism also traveled east along these routes, profoundly shaping Chinese culture for centuries to come. Zhang Qian didn't set out to create the Silk Road. He was just a loyal official on a diplomatic mission. But his incredible perseverance, his courage in the face of capture and unknown dangers, and his insatiable curiosity changed the course of history. He literally connected to halves of the world that had, until then, known almost nothing of each other. His journey is a testament to the power of a single individual to change the world. He spent over a decade as a prisoner, crossed deadly deserts and mountains, and never gave up on his duty. His legacy isn't just a network of trade routes. It's a story about breaking down barriers, exploring the unknown, and the incredible things that can happen when different cultures connect. So, the next time you hear about the Silk Road, remember the man who started it all, Zhang Qian, the indefatigable traveler whose epic journey opened up the world. His story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest discoveries are made when you're simply trying to find your way home. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories from history. See you next time.